Hey guys, it's Jake Mace with JakeMace.com. I'm here in Scottsdale, Arizona at Fight Ready with my friend Paris Stanford. Welcome to my channel.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for having me.
Paris is head instructor over here at Fight Ready, and he's going to show us 3 moves that every martial artist should know. But what style of martial arts are these 3 moves from?
These are specifically entail wrestling and Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu specifically.
What do you think the power of wrestling and Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is for like somebody who wants just general self-defense skills compared to striking?
Yeah, well, here's the thing about striking. You can be as nice as you want striking. As the saying goes, all fights end up on the ground. That's very true. If I didn't have striking and I had Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and wrestling, I'd feel a lot better than just having striking and no grappling at all. Because I could leverage that and go to the ground versus it's very hard to stay on your feet in a fight.
Yeah.
You know,
So if you think it's better to have both, but if you could choose only the grappling, the ground, or the striking, you would go for the ground and grappling
Absolutely, absolutely. I think that's kind of served the test of time. And if you look at some of the old Gracie videos and some of the Gracie guys, they couldn't strike at all, but they're beating strikers by what? Just taking them to the ground and submitting. You know, so the saying goes, you know, it's the ocean floor for us. You know, we're the sharks. Most people can't swim. You know, so.
I love that. Well, you guys can follow Paris Stanford down below. He competes regularly and he teaches here in Scottsdale. And I can't wait to see these 3 moves. Let's see what you got.
Cool. All right, so the first thing I want to go over is basically whether you're on the street or you're in a gi in competition, somebody likes to reach for you to grab some material, maybe even a half rest or collar tie. Any of those, we're going to go ahead and work a nice overhook. And what we're going to do is we're going to force the elbow to bend. We're going to make a nice little 90 turn. And once your elbow starts turning on the inside like that, either your shoulder, elbow, or both are actually going to be in a lot of pain, and people are going to comply. So nice pain compliance move for you. So Jake's reaching for me here, and he's actually got a tight grip on my collar here. If this is just jiu-jitsu, things that we can do to just break the collar before we even go for our overhook, what I can do is I can put my finger underneath and grab. I'm going to use the webbing just the same in the front. Now, what I want to do, whatever foot is back already, I'm going to go ahead and just take a little baby step back with that foot already. Now, what I don't want to do, now what it does, a couple things. One, I'm doing a little bit of a level change, and this is the first motion to create some kind of tension. Now, our fingers work very well like this, but if I'm to rip the grip up to the sky, it rips my fingers in a different fashion, and these counter motions all help together. So I have 1 grip, 2 grip, baby step back with my level change. Once my foot hits the ground, I'm ripping straight up to the sky. So all those motions together get us to here. Now notice, I still have my base and my stance. What I don't want to do is take all my weight and fly straight out of it.
Because you want to stay in there.
Absolutely. And now once I break, I want to use this to my advantage, maybe to pull by. And now I have some sort of control. I cut an angle, I got to their back, which is also very useful in jiu-jitsu. Great on the street as well. I don't want to be in your striking range. Anytime I can get off center is good for me.
And it seems like you're not just using strength, you're using snap to get that arm off.
Absolutely. So, once again, another thing with our wrist motions here, I can actually use my thumbs up here and push up as I push down.
Yeah, that feels like my grip is taken away.
Exactly. So, we add those motions together. So, once again, the last motion will be with our thumbs here. I can push here. I can keep them on the inside if I wanted as well.
That's a great tip.
I just want to catch here right at the bend of his wrist as well. This is another small thing that we can do. So, baby stepping back. I have both my grips in place. I'm ripping these grips straight up to the sky. Don't do this. Hands work very well up there. Not so much when we have all these counter motions and ripping up as well. So stepping back, ripping straight up, and staying in this position where now I could pull him by. I could go for my wrestling shot. There's a lot of different options we can work from there. So now in the street, sometimes we don't have, you know, maybe we got an altercation and we're on the beach. We didn't have our shirt on. You know, who knows? The summer's coming up.
Or sweaty and slick or something.
No, exactly. You know, and maybe people aren't grabbing. Maybe somebody grabs you by the neck.
Yeah.
So that same scenario, now I don't have anything that I can reach and break, but what I can do is take my hand up and over. Now my elbow wants to clear over his elbow space. Now this is what's important. When I come back through, I want to make sure the bend of mine is around the bend of his. Now when I force that through, it forces the elbow inside. Now notice Jake's whole body is moving. That's because there's a lot of pressure on this arm. And obviously I don't want to hurt him, he doesn't want to get hurt, so he's going to
move to not get dislocated.
You have to. Now another thing that I can do is I can lock all this in place. I can grab my own forearm, I can grab his shoulder, and then I can begin to move him where I want.
Yeah.
Now, when people want to throw a strike, I can always increase my pressure
And then takes that away.
and take their whole balance as well.
Because my power's gone.
Absolutely. Another thing you can do, since we're talking about striking, say if Jake did throw a nice right hook at me or something, and I was able to block, I can use that same motion, once again, to gain control. Now, for me personally, if I have one hand and I'm trying to stay away from that, I will circle towards the other, increasing the pressure here. so he does not want to keep circling.
There's no way that could reach you.
No, as long as I'm staying here with you.
Yeah.
So these are some great moves that you can do. Now, like I said before, for competition jiu-jitsu, some cool things that we can do. Once again, if Jake had a nice grip. Once I break, I just don't want to be here and then back off again.
Yeah.
We have to re-engage anyways. We can circle around, we're going to be stalling.
So you want to use this to go to something else.
Absolutely. One great thing that we can do is go into a wrestling shot. Now, I prefer a double than a single. So when I take my baby step back, once I'm here, I'm going to pull his arms down to take his balance. I have to get lower than him. That's what's very important. So I'm really focused on where my shoulder is. So once again, I break, I pull down, I stay lower, and then I engage my shot. Now notice I try to keep my head up and my back straight. Very important. What I do not want to do is go in here, not worrying about his arm, and I end up getting guillotined because I just ran in. So
Exactly.
very important head placement and where we're stepping to.
And your head and your neck is like a third limb. You can use it to your advantage.
Absolutely. Now another thing, since you brought that up as well, we always want to try to hit with our shoulder first if possible. I don't want to crank my neck here or bend. So when I actually shoot and break down, I drop down and I try to hit with my shoulder first and then immediately placement of my head second. So those are important from a wrestling standpoint.
Love it.
But next up, we're going to talk about arm bars. Arm bars are great ones. And everybody sees the fancy flying arm bars, all the rest of it. Don't flying arm bar someone on the street or try to. Chances are you're going to hurt yourself, you know, so.
You got the stress of the street going on, you're nervous, you don't know if he's got friends or a weapon.
Absolutely. But if we do end up on the ground and we do need to maybe stop somebody from striking using things like, once again, our overhooks or just isolating somebody's arm, an arm bar is a great option. Now, once again, we want to apply our arm bar as quick as we can, break the arm if we have to, and get up as soon as possible.
Yeah.
All right, so we'll go over that and then a couple little things that we can do to sweep people over and end up on the top where we want to be, not on the bottom.
So this arm bar from the feet or from the ground?
This is actually going to be from full guard, meaning that I'm going to have my legs wrapped around you. I'll be on my back and not a very good position on the street. And it's very important that we understand how to get out of those and then protect ourselves from the worst case scenario.
Yeah.
In jiu-jitsu, competition Brazilian jiu-jitsu, there's no punching, there's no kicking and all the rest of that. I do full mixed martial arts, definitely kicking, punching, elbows, all the rest of it.
Everything goes in that.
So my jiu-jitsu is from a competition standpoint, and then I also understand it from full strikes as well when somebody's really trying to hurt you.
Sure.
So it changes a little bit. So
Sure.
first thing, we'll go ahead and go down to the ground. I'm gonna have Jake on his knees, and what's important about being on your knees in somebody's guard is that you have good base, exactly. He has active toes, we call it. You don't want to be on the flat part of your feet here.
On the top?
Yeah, on the tops of them. I don't want to get rolled back over my ankles.
Yeah.
If I'm here and I get rolled back, I just go to my feet.
I got some good pivoting action on the ball of my foot.
Got a nice wide base, shoulders under the hips. Looking good.
Okay.
Thanks. All right, so for me, when I pull my guard, it's not just wrapping my legs around him. I have a lot of space in between here. I don't want any space. So what I do is I like to hike myself up and get as close as I can. Now, there's some clearance actually underneath me as well. That's very important because now I can move you around, I can dump my knees forward.
And you just got like 4 or 5 inches tighter to my body.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know, so you have to actively try to keep your base in balance. And when it comes to something like striking, now if you throw in punches, I can always block, and then I can start moving you wherever I want.
Because not only
my strikes.
are you blocking, but you're pulling me in, which kind of throws me off. I have to then block myself, and now it takes my punches away.
Exactly.
I see.
So first thing, we'll just talk traditional armbar. I always want to grab the wrist. Now, in jiu-jitsu, even when there's material, still grab the wrist. It's a good habit, work on your grip strength and control. Now from here, I want to grab the elbow. If there's an arm, we'll go under the other arm. But since it's not there, I'm not worried about it. But if it is here, I'm not going to go over the top and have Jake keep blocking my arm off and giving me trouble. So we always go under that arm. grabbing the elbow. The next thing I want to do is positioning. So I pull this arm across, and I want to have the fist on the far side of my face. It's more about where his elbow is placed. But if his fist is on the far side of his face, elbow makes it to about your sternum, it's good for you. Now, I have here 1, 2, 3. Wrist, elbow, positioning. Number 4 is neck. So when I reach up here, if he's too far away, always use your knees to pull forward, kind of dump them in a little bit, pinch your elbows in for control. Now, I'm gonna slide my knee up. Notice I said slide. We're not stepping to the hip nice and wide. I want this pinched in, so I don't wanna have to do a 1-2 step of 1, pinch, 2. I'm just gonna slide straight into position. And then I'm already pinched up. Now, this next part I call filleting the side. We're gonna act like this leg over here on the far side is a knife, and Jake is a fish. Sorry, Jake. So we're gonna cut our angle, and what we're gonna do is fillet the side. We're gonna act like we're taking a small piece of meat off. I'm gonna go all the way up and run it. Notice I didn't separate away. Some people throw their arm bar and they separate and they get to here. It's not as good control. So
your right arm, your right hand's got my right elbow.
Exactly. This one's gonna keep
That
your
one's
posture
free.
broken.
Okay.
And then the other one's gonna fillet the side as I push off the hip and turn my angle and lock my heel down at the end.
Yeah.
So now I have the angle I need, which makes it easy to get over the head.
And already I feel like any kind of muscles I have in my shoulders and chest are working against me.
Absolutely.
I'm already feeling them kind of cramping a little bit and getting all like constricted together.
Exactly. So he's trying to get his posture back, and my legs are holding him down.
Yeah.
I'm actively kind of pinching here together.
Exactly.
Good. So now, last steps I'm going to do is I'm going to push the head out, and if need be, I'm going to circle around the head, and we're going to try not to cross our feet. We're going to clamp both our heels down. And now, very important, the wrist is up. Now, it's more about where hip bend of the arm is. So if we're here, you can probably still get an arm bar, but if I'm here, I know I can find the bend of his arm. We're going to move both our grips to the wrist, pinching knees together, clamping heels down, and I'm lifting up. A common mistake people do is they push away, and the elbow comes sliding out.
And that all of your leverage is gone.
Exactly. And
I felt a lot more at ease.
Exactly. And also, I'm attacking this bend. So this bend has to stay in. If it goes out of your crotch area, there's no arm bar to be had. They're probably going to escape. They're going to be in side control. You're in a bad situation. So once again, for our finish, holding tight to your body, pinching knees, clamping heels, going straight up. And when I put a little pressure on, I'll have Jake just tap to let me know that I've applied enough pressure, it hurts, and I will stop. So pinching, holding, straight up.
Yeah, right there.
And he taps. We let go, and back to my guard. So that is our basic arm bar from the guard.
And that armbar is so beautiful because like I'm not in pain until it's broken. And all of a sudden I'm just like, I'm fully consciously experiencing this arm break.
Absolutely.
Before that tap, I had nothing else to go.
Yeah.
Nowhere else to go.
Yeah, it's nowhere you want to be.
Yeah.
So if someone's striking at you, typically they're throwing, and I'm blocking. Now, on street punches as well, people like to swing wide. Yeah, so they're trying to just leverage all their strength and motion of turning their body. What we're going to do is we're going to absorb the first one. So I got to make sure I bring this up, blocking, nice and heavy, like I'm reaching for the back of my head. I want to use that meaty part of my arm here, my bicep. I want to use my shoulder. I want to use everything I can to block. Once I absorb that block, we're immediately overhooking the arm. I'm not going to give him that back, and then I have a half wrestler collar tie to keep his posture broken. Now, once again, we can shoot a nice little arm bar from here, but we have to anticipate what's going to happen. He is going to separate away from me to get to here.
Yeah.
Now,
because this does not feel good for me right here.
No, exactly. So naturally, he's going to sit up to get his posture. As he does, I start cutting my angle already. Now, once I'm here, I could reach under the leg, I could reach for the outside, or once again, I could just go for the posture. I'm going to swing for momentum. So notice what's happening. I'm getting up that fillet the side leg from hip up into the armpit. The other one is going to make sure that I get over the head. Now, if I'm way over here still on this hip, it's very hard for me to get over.
So they're both coming up together.
Yeah, so this is to help me get positioning.
Yeah.
Now notice what happens. I'm going to keep him trapped under my armpit for this one. This is very tight. Now, if it's bent
even
already,
right now, like I can't, it's hard for me to get my arm out of there because you've got it trapped.
And now if I pinch heavy too,
There's
it
no
puts
way.
a lot of pressure on it. Pinching,
Yeah.
extending my hips, and that's where I can get my tap as well.
Cool.
So for
without
this-
even grabbing me.
Without even grabbing.
Wow.
You know,
That's
so,
a cool one.
So that's another cool one that we can work as well.
Can you show that one more time?
Absolutely. So once again, absorbing strikes, and then when we're ready,
Yeah.
I use my knees as well. So once he throws a strike,
Because I don't know if everybody saw that, like you use the momentum of my punch to kind of like lift your legs and your hips
Yes.
up, so I threw my weight got thrown forward where I don't want it to be.
absolutely. So my knees are actually pulling forward. Once that punch is coming in,
Yeah,
not only
like
am I
right there.
blocking, but I'm throwing.
Exactly.
He's posted to the ground. I know exactly where his arm's going to be. And
Now
then
you
I
got
get my
me.
nice overhook. Once again, as I shift, if I can't get my angle with my core strength by swinging out, I can always step to the hip. Once again, this is our pinch and block. I can slide up, once again, getting to my angle. Under the leg if I needed extra help, and getting all the way around the head.
Oh my God, I wonder if the
keeping it
camera can
trapped.
see that under the leg move. That's pretty sweet right there.
And once again, another way to take his balance under the leg.
That just kind of added to my discomfort.
And we'll show you one cool other thing you can do once you go under the leg. Now, if I don't have the flexibility as well, I can always let this out so I can be here.
I see.
Versus here.
Right.
But this is the very tight arm bar. If you can get under the armpit and stay there and get your leg over the head, that's always the option. Now, the last option we can do, we're taking here, maybe they're struggling, they're fighting, a thing called stacking. People come to put their weight on top of you. This gets very uncomfortable for me.
Yeah.
So as Jake does this, all I'm gonna do is reach through for the sky on this one as he's shifting his weight, and he's gonna end up getting swept to his back. So once again, he's bringing his weight up, I reach,
Totally.
and I take him all the way over. Now, one thing that I'm doing as well that you might not notice is I'm trying to get underneath him. I'm trying to change my angle and put my head underneath. So once again, we have the arm trapped, we had our angle here, we're trying to finish, we can't. As his weight comes up, I continue to shift under. It changes the angle.
That's crazy.
And naturally, they take a fall. Once again, I can stay here, or I can move it more traditional. If you have this leg, do not let it go. Connect the hand that's hooked to the wrist and finish with both. Now I've taken away his mobility as well, where previously he might be able to stack me up again or roll out.
So how would you finish me here? You would grab?
I would grab both, and then I would just go back with both and finish my arm bar with your leg as well.
2 more inches, I was done. Right there.
That's it.
That's awesome. Okay, Paris, and the final move for today, the third move.
All right, yeah, one thing I wanted to go over is how to escape the mount. One really bad place to be is where on your back and somebody's on top of you. I can't even activate my guard and wrap my legs around them because they're over my hips and they're on my stomach or on my hips themselves.
Because let's say you're not a Jiu-Jitsu black belt and you are on the ground, you don't feel comfortable there. How do you get out?
Yeah, so we're gonna go over that right now. I'll give you 2 ways. First one, I highly recommend is the simplest way. Maybe we won't do 3, but
okay.
let's go ahead and get started. So I'm gonna have Jake take his full mount position. Good. Now, when we're up here, typically when somebody's on my hips a little bit easier, we're starting worst case scenarios, they have a higher mount. So they bring their knees up a little high. Yes, this is where I don't feel comfortable at all. Yeah, I'm getting pounded, all the rest of it. Now, couple things. If somebody is striking at me, I need them to use their hands and not on me. I need to use them on the floor preferably. So what I'm gonna do as I'm defending and blocking, one, I wanna bring my hips more into relation. So what I did right now is I push my elbows inside of on the thighs and I scooted myself up so our hips are more in relation and I'm not here.
Because this is bad news.
This is bad news for me. Now also, because he slid under my armpits, I can't even get on the inside where I want to be and bring my elbows in to push you away. So first thing is, elbows in, as I'm blocking, scooting, and I'm in a better position, our hips are in relation to
Just
each
that
other.
6 inches to a foot of space is big.
Huge. It is absolutely huge.
Okay.
So next thing that we're gonna do, I want him to use his hands. So what I'm gonna do, my feet are on the floor, my elbows are on the inside where I want him now. I'm gonna buck my hips forward and I'm gonna take him over the top just so he uses his hands. From here, as my butt comes to the ground, I'm gonna shrimp out and I'm gonna wedge my elbow in to make a little bit of space. If I can get my knee under this space, fantastic. Sometimes they're still on the ground as far as their knee, and I can't quite get under like I want to. What I'm gonna do very quick is I'm gonna scoop with my free leg. Once I scoop to here, I have what's called quarter guard.
Oh.
Now, I wanna get to half guard, but his knee now is not in the guard. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna push, we're gonna slide under and immediately turn my hips, and we're gonna keep this underhook as we turn for control. Now, being this high under the armpit, I have a lot of different options. I can go right for his back right now. So let's go ahead and work on that. We're here, as soon as they start even moving at all, maybe even bringing their weight up, I'm gonna do what's called just a throw by. So if he comes up to punch me, what's he gonna have to do? Exactly, bring his hands off the ground. So if this one's easy enough to block, chances are they might even put that down and try to swing here. Exactly. So either way that it goes, doesn't matter, as long as I get my underhook. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do a little bit of a bump and a throw by. I want this hand to be placed over here. So when I throw by, think about a swimming stroke. Just a nice long swimming stroke. I don't wanna grab anything, I'm just gonna reach, bump my hips and throw. Now his hand is placed, I'm gonna immediately place my head here. Chances are people are gonna try to reach back for you. If I just start getting up and I'm here, very easy to get headlocked, thrown back in front, then I'm in a bad way. So make sure immediately upon the throw by, head placement, I have my first hook in, and then I can cover the arm. Now, if we're interested in taking the back, let's go ahead and slide that knee out wide. I've just widened his base. I made it very easy for me to step over, and now I can either fall onto my choke side, which is whatever hand is over the shoulder, or I can just flatten him straight out on his belly. Either of those are fine. Once again, I'll have Jake just slightly get up. If I wanted to go to my choke side, I'm gonna go ahead and pull and just sag and end up on this side.
And this is the choke you like. You got the arm.
Yeah, so rear naked choke, very popular choke. A couple things about that. I just want to reach through if I'm under the chin. Initially, you can grab the shoulder. Great option. The bottom hand that's under the armpit needs to come out. And as I'm sliding for the back of his head, I find my bicep with this hand. We're gonna flex our muscles, bring our elbows together, and we will get our tap. Now remember, if I can't hold that for at least 30 seconds, I'm squeezing way too hard.
Yeah.
Now remember, I'm just trying to cut off some blood flow.
How long should it take?
To put somebody out?
Yeah.
If you're doing proper technique, within 5 seconds, they should probably be sleepy.
Yeah.
You know, so 10 seconds, they are out. But just make sure a couple things. We're not trying to rip their head off, so don't pull. Think of a constriction. I'm trying to empty all this space. So grabbing your bicep. Another thing, if you're grabbing the back of the head, say they reach up and they grab this hand and they keep ripping this off.
Yeah.
This is a problem. Couple options there. I can either slide straight back, do what's called gable grips on my hand, and bring this behind the shoulder blade. Now we can finish that same choke. The other option, instead of grabbing the back of his head, grab your own shoulder. And now he can't find anything to grab. Exactly. And I can finish that same choke. So that is our rear naked choke finish.
That was awesome. That's cool. And no pain in my neck.
Yeah.
Just pressure in my head.
Just pressure.
Let's go. Hey, everybody out there watching, please down in the comments say thanks to Paris Stanford for donating his awesome skills to this video today. I know this is not Chinese Kung Fu, but I love when people get a chance to experience different art forms through the YouTube channel that I've created here, and thanks for showing your expertise.
Thank you, sir. No, thank you for having me. Thank you for coming into beautiful Scottsdale, Arizona, Fight Ready MMA and Fitness. It's just a wonderful blessing to have you in, and anytime, man. I appreciate it.
It's great to meet you and do these videos.
Yes, sir.
If anybody is in the Scottsdale area, they can check out Paris and Fight Ready.
Absolutely.
They got a variety of classes here and also fitness.
Yeah, we do everything from cardio classes, strength and conditioning, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, striking, and then also, you know, if you guys want to check me out, in the MMA scene, I'll be fighting June 9th, Wild Horse Pass Casino.
Here in the Phoenix area.
Yep, World Fighting Federation, so that's going down.
Where can folks find out more about you right now, your social media?
Yeah, absolutely. So you can look me up on Facebook, Paris Stanford. Also, I have an athlete page, Paris Superhero Stanford. Yeah, and then on Instagram, if you look me up, Paris_Superhero 444.
You guys, I'll tag all that down below in the description and comments. And if you guys want to know where he's teaching each move in this video, I'll put some minutes and seconds down below so you guys can jump to different moves. There's a lot of material you just threw at him.
Yeah.
People out there learning online, would you have any advice for them? Do they need to get into a program? Do they need to actually sweat with other people? What do they, can they learn online? What are some of your tips?
You know, knowledge is important to learn in many facets. You know, you can learn online, but true knowledge is experience as well. So the more that you get in live and do something, the better the knowledge you do have. So it is good to learn things online, but it's a whole nother story to say I learned how to punch and kick, but I've never really punched and kicked anyone.
Yeah.
I learned how to do an armbar, but I've never really armbarred somebody. So
it's like learning how to swing a golf club but never actually hitting the ball.
Exactly. You know, so it's very important that not only that you get in class and roll with people, but now you have all these different body structures as well. You can't tell who's going to be your opponent, you know?
Yeah.
Or
outside in the real world.
God forbid on the real world, you know?
They could weigh 100 pounds more than you.
Absolutely. So now you're going to fine tune some things, understand what the game's really about. And then also, you know, interesting things happen when you try the technique and maybe even you make it your own and you learn some variation of it, you know? So things are constantly evolving. Be part of that evolution. So
great advice. Thank you so much. Guys, get involved in the comments. Hopefully Paris and I will get in there and answer your questions. Thanks for watching.